Hi, it's Pioneer for Niche. Today's a great day to talk about refinance for tax. It's the 31st of January. I'm not sure when this video is going to go out actually, but there's going to be a lot of people searching the internet and thinking about their tax liability and how they're going to pay their taxes off. We get it every year. This is the time of the year where we start getting queries around tax. I've got to pay my tax off. I've got corporation tax. I've got this tax, that tax, personal tax. Can I get a mortgage? Can I get a remortgage to pay tax? The answer is yes, but in many cases, no. Right? So it really depends on what the tax is. Is it personal tax? Is it corporate tax? And how long the tax liability has been there for. Okay, that's more important. So if you've had a tax liability which has been built up over a number of years, the likelihood the remortgage lenders will not do it. Okay, if it's last year and you just got, you've just overshot your tax situation, or you mistimed it, or something's happened where you've got this tax liability, then there are some lenders that will give you a traditional remortgage for tax purposes. Right? I've had a lot of experience within this sector. I've had people that HMRC. I had a lady about 8 months ago, had a tax property worth 2 million. Okay, 2 million, got a mortgage of 200k on it, or 250k. Had a tax liability of 170 odd thousand pounds. Okay, HMRC put in a procedure, and essentially they were going to try to repossess the property. Just to think about the level of equity she's got in this property. Now, we couldn't go for a traditional remortgage. Because the tax liability was over a number of years and it was quite a large liability, and we had to go and get a type of bridging finance, because one of the rules a lot of the lenders have got, a lot of the mainstream lenders have got, is they will not allow remortgaging purposes for tax purposes and gambling and things like that. Okay, so you can't go to your bank, your traditional bank, and go in most cases to your high street bank and go, oh, I want to remortgage. And what's the reason for the remortgage? Oh, I need to pay my tax bill off. And there are people that get clever because they'll go, oh yeah, well, it's for home improvements. And then as part of the remortgage documentation, you got to show your tax documents if you're self-employed, for example. Okay, and it says there's a liability on there, or they can't file their taxes. So for that lady, we had to go and get bridging finance. And because it was their residential home, it had to be a regulated bridging finance, which means it falls under the Financial Conduct Authority, which means a lot of those bridging lenders cannot do it. So there are certain specific lenders that can do it, which is more complicated. So, and there was always a deadline because this tax liability was getting bigger and bigger almost, because there was penalties in place. So you needed to find a lender that understood the situation, their legal representatives understood the situation, and also at the same time we had to demonstrate to the lender, not only we're going to get this cleared off, so we're going to get this bridging loan to pay off your tax bill, but also we had to demonstrate to the lender how we were going to get the lender paid, the bridging lender paid. So ultimately we had to get an agreement in principle from another bank, a traditional high street bank, to take out the bridging loan. So it gets very complicated, gets very expensive. I have to say, it's not a cheap thing. You do not want to be going down this route if you can help it. And we had to get that done because literally she had to go to court. She had to go to court. I had to get the bridging finance done, and then we had to exit it out of this convoluted way of doing things. Okay, so there are possibilities of doing that, but you need expertise within that, and not all that. There are a lot of lenders that say they do a lot of things, but they don't actually do it, and they don't deliver. And a lot of the things is time sensitive when you're dealing with tax matters. So if it's a straightforward tax matter, then there are lenders that will remortgage for any purpose really, and they can give you the refinancing. Often the problem is if someone has got a tax problem, then they may have other problems, maybe a credit problem, okay? And that becomes more complicated, because what are you going to do? Because all of a sudden, a whole host of lenders you don't have access to, and you've got to get that right, whereby you may have to get the bridging finance, or you may be able to go to the mortgage lender straight off from the start. So when it comes to tax matters, a couple of things is important. understanding what the tax liability is, having an idea of why this has happened and how this is not going to happen again. The lenders want to know, okay, you got this problem, but what are you going to show us that this is not going to happen again? Is it you've changed your accountant, or you now putting processes in place, you've changed staff, you've changed, why is this not going to happen again? That's really important, okay? Because it's essentially the worst type of debt consolidation, and debt consolidation is one of the highest risk sort of type of products you can offer, okay? So a great level of advice needs to be sought out from your accountant, from your broker, from yourself, your legal representatives, because these things can get very, very serious. So it is that time of the year. If you think you've got this liability, don't put your head in the sand. Start talking to people now, make inquiries about it, plan, speak to HMRC, see what you can do. Can you come to some sort of arrangement? Is there a payment plan you can agree to? Can you afford that payment plan before it runs away and you're in the situation where you're now having to look at equities to refinance things, okay? But if you are in that spot, there are options available to you, as I've explained, and we've done that. Another one we do a lot of is paying inheritance tax, okay? So you've received these properties, it's got taxes that you've got to pay for it. You've got to take out the existing lenders to put it into your name. All of those sort of things, they're complicated, but again, there are financial instruments that they are available for you to be able to pay for those things. Again, great level of detail needs to be given around this because it's not straightforward. Anyway, I hope you file your taxes. I've just paid for my taxes and it's not a great experience this time of the year, but we've all got to do it. There's two things that are certain in life: taxes and death. Yeah, hopefully if you do need us, we're here, but hopefully you don't need us for this topic. I've made 300 or 400 odd videos, and I always say to people, we're here if you need us, but if you've got a tax problem, hopefully we are the last call, because essentially you've tried to get this managed with HMRC and you've sort this out with your accountant. But if you haven't and you think, you need the additional room or the advice, give us a call. I'll speak to you on the next one. Take care. The content of this video does not constitute giving advice. It's purely for information purposes. All cases should be discussed with a professional mortgage broker. As a mortgage is secured against your home or property, it could be repossessed if you do not keep up mortgage payments. Niche advice is authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.